In my first video, I hope you've seen that. I told you that CloneDesk is more than a software. It is a way to run your business. And what that means is basically you empower your people through really a lot of knowledge transfer and also through automation. So how this works, I will show you in an example. We have, for example, our sales process in the agency, right? So what we do is we cover all the medical terms. So the first task I do, but can be outsourced already. And the next task is outsourced to somebody else. And in this case, I already know like how much time it took for the person to do this task. And now I know how long it takes for the next task, how long it takes her to do just that. That's really important for me as an entrepreneur to know that, because then I can calculate it. Also, in the future, this was pretty new workflow or blueprint. So estimated duration is not yet clear, but next time it runs, it is clear. So the more often we do this task, the clearer it gets, like what has to be done. Now, what you can see here is that Sriya gets this task to research enterprises that we want to sell to. And more than that, she gets a complete manual in what she has to do, right? To work on this, blah, blah, blah. Enter this, do this, do this, do this, do this. There's the bus stream user included. I will have to get rid of this in the video. Bus market add-on link to it, videos to know what she has to do, and some questions, right? So whenever she has a question, her task is to edit the blueprint, or I have to edit it and add the question. So next time she or somebody else, and that's really an important thing, they have to update this task and make it better for the next person who steps in and has to do this. The thought behind this is that, as you can see here, this task, well, we search for new sales contacts frequently, namely on a weekly basis, right? So on a weekly basis, we find potential customers. And now, if, for example, Sriya doesn't work for us anymore, we can just say, all right, Sriya is out. I put her out of the project or even out of the complete organization, put somebody else in, and now what I do is I just switch whoever, like, let's say this channel, right? Open this. And now I want to have somebody else work on this channel. For example, in this case, Alice is the preferred worker for this. Now, if somebody else comes in and I want him to work on this, I can just set him preferred worker. And whenever a task has to be done by a research person or by a keyword research person, then that person gets the task, which is super powerful. Now, the next thing is, how do I automate this, and how do I delegate automatically? Now, the thing here is, if you look at Sriya, for example, she gets all the Unternehmen recherchieren task because this is tagged with Unternehmen recherchieren, and she is the preferred worker for Unternehmen recherchieren. Like I said before, if she doesn't work for us anymore, I can just select a new person and say, like, all right, who's the new person in charge to Unternehmen recherchieren? And it gets even better than that. Now, let's take sales presentation task, for example, and choose somebody who does not have that much access, like probably Sriya doesn't have access, right? Now I click on this and I can say, all right, Sriya is now the preferred worker for all the keyword research tasks, or she's even the preferred worker for all the SEO tasks. And what this will do is whenever I get an SEO task in my feed or through whatever tasks, and they are set to worker in the blueprint element, then she gets this task. I don't have to do that. It happens automatically. If there are two preferred workers set up, and the system chooses, um, depending on an algorithm, what person is the perfect match. And this happens based on how much task that person has already and what the throughput is each week. So if I know from an historical perspective that the person works 10 hours a week, then then the system will try to give that person at least 10 hours of work in that week, or if there's not that much, it obviously can't do it, but it will try to give pass that much work to that person. And in a later stage, we'll even do that on a daily basis through a cron job so that tasks are automatically distributed to the right person, right? And yeah, this is really how we work and how we delegate automatically and how we, you know, automate the complete business cycles through these scheduled workflows. Because if I say that this should happen on a weekly basis and the tasks are then automatically distributed to the correct or to the right people, I don't have to manage, right? Now, the only thing that I have to manage is another workflow. You can't see this here, but we have a controlling workflow that just checks whether all the output, whether all these weekly tasks have been done. This is also like running automatically. Then additionally, to make sure that the people do what they have to, we have the notifications, right? So whenever somebody who doesn't have that many tasks in our organization, he just gets an email to say, and we say like, hey, you have new tasks, let's go, right? We get this daily. And through that, it is really an automated process where you just have to control. You have to build the business and not work in it. But you do the thing, or what I do is I do these things 3, 4, 5 times until it is pretty clear for me how the process works and until I have the manuals written down. And once I have that, I just put it into the system and let the system work for me. That's how CloneDesk magic